Welcome back to LJ's Comic Burrow. My name is Jay. I'm the host of the show, and today it's a very awesome subject that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be getting into at least my favorite five best miniseries that Marvel and DC has done, and these are just more of a uh, superhero series that I'll be talking to you about. And I'll be honest with you, they will be in no certain order. It's just going to be personally just my opinions. And if you like what we're talking about, please subscribe, and please leave a comment if you have your own opinion on which series that you personally enjoyed throughout Marvel and DC's history. Second thing I'm going to talk to you about is one, my co-host. Today, my co-host is my little puppyette. Her name is Storm. Right there. She's that little pretty little girl right there. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of backstory about her. A little bit of backstory about her is my wife and I went down to a fairy festival about 5 years ago, and we found out while we were there that they were actually trying to get people to rescue dogs. At the time, my wife ended up picking her out. We fell in love with her, and I'll be honest with you, she has been probably one of the best rescues we've ever taken in. I will tell you that she does have a backstory. Unfortunately, she has I think a history of not liking smaller children, which she never took it out personally on my daughter. But if other small children come around, she becomes very agitated, very fidgety, and that's due to the fact that she actually has a burn mark underneath her arm, and we fear that what's probably what ended up happening was some children ended up burning her, so she has that fear, uh, probably for the rest of her life. But that's my dog Storm. She is awesome. First, now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is going to probably be a very adult theme, so there's gonna be cursing, swearing, drinking, and a little bit of smoking in it. So I'm welcome all to my very adult themed show, and that's due to the fact that I'm first going to talk about my very adult themed subject that we're about to do. Marvel is putting out a very very and hopefully very adult themed comic book, 4 issue series involving a character they just brought in from the Fox universe, and I think it was Dark Horse at the time that has been publishing it, uh, and might as well just show it off right away. Predator versus Wolverine. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've been waiting for this since Predator came over to Marvel. Can I tell you? Look, look at this. The McFarlane homages. I'm getting those. I've already got them ordered. I got this one ordered for my wife for her being such a Wolverine fan. This is probably, and I'm don't get me wrong. I know Marvel and DC both have done this. They're going to put out, they're gonna tell you that this great series is coming out, and sometimes it falls flat. I think of one of them being the Superman versus the Alien series. That was god awful. I mean, they just pretty much had Superman run through everything. Hopefully, with this, they do what they did with Batman, and that Batman versus Predator series was top notch. Tonight, I'm sitting here looking at it, and it's Benjamin Percy who has done the other Wolverine books right now, the volume sevens, and he's also doing the Ghost Rider series that's going on. Probably some of the best work that Marvel is doing right now with those 2 series. My wife is collecting the Wolverine, and obviously I started off with the Ghost Rider, and unfortunately sometimes it comes to money of which books that you want and which books you don't want, and part of me regrets giving up that Ghost Rider. Benjamin Percy has been putting together some great stories, and right now he's actually doing some intermingling between Wolverine and Ghost Rider in those stories. So one of the things that we are going to talk about is, to me, the 5 best miniseries that Marvel and DC has ever put out. And like I said, this is just my opinion, and I always say, if you have your own opinion, please comment, please like, please subscribe, and please let me know what your favorite miniseries are. Personally, like I said, this is going to be mine, and and see if you like what I have down. And I'm sure everyone's going to have their own opinions about that, and I would love to hear what you have to say. So, but let's just show this one more time. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my fucking god. This needs to be very, 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 very adult. Very adult. There should be swearing, there should be lots of blood, there should be drinking, there should be everything in this book. This book and series will be, I think, not, I won't say a complete loss, but dear God, it won't live up to the hype if it doesn't have Wolverine at his full extreme adult themed version. So keep in mind that book and series is coming out. It's a 4-issue series, and it should be coming out within the next month or so. Now, personally, my favorite 5 series, and I'm going to show you a little bit about, and I'm going to talk about each one here. Give you a brief story here. The first series that I'm going to talk about right now is of my first 5, and this is not in any order, in any way, shape, or form. But the first series is Devil's Reign. Chip and Marco Cheto put together some of the best work. All right, this story basically was the bridge between the Daredevil that was and the Daredevil soon to come, between the 2 volumes, and this is probably some of Daredevil's best work. All right, Chip would. There's nothing bad I can ever say about Chip, because everything so far that he's written, I am absolutely enjoyed. Even if it's an issue that I didn't care about, if Chip sat there and he added his 2 cents, I would end up reading it. So, with the Devil's Reign story, all right, I'm going to tell you a little bit of some of the keys. It was its first team appearance of Kingpin's Thunderbolts, and the first cameo appearance of the Superior Four. Basically, they're the 2 keys that happened during that issue. But like I said, it's a 6 issue. It's spread throughout so many different comic books they put together. It was probably last year's one of the best miniseries that was that pretty much evolutionized what was going on with Daredevil. And I think that Chip has pretty much will leave Daredevil in a better place. And that's what you got to do. When you're writing a miniseries, you got to see how it's going to affect everything going on in that Marvel universe and in the universe that you're writing in. So personally, it was a home run. Now the next series, and like I said, in no certain order, the next miniseries that I thought was the best miniseries out there is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. Fantastic series. Fantastic. I mean, you really think about it, it was probably one of the very first miniseries ever put together by Marvel or DC. Now, if honestly, if you had an opinion about it, please write in the comment, and I'm more than willing to discuss anything. So, this is probably, I personally think, one of the best miniseries that Marvel has ever put out. It's done by Jim Shooter, Mike Zeck. Probably the perfect storm when it came to it, and it was all created due to the fact that Hasbro wanted to basically sell some toys. Came to Marvel and said, "Hey, what can you do for us?" The keys for this issue was first for this miniseries. First cameo appearance of the Beyonder, first appearance of Volcana and Tatana, the first appearance of Zagini, I think that's how you pronounce it. The cameo appearance and full appearance of Julian Carpenter, Spider Woman. You got the origins of the alien symbiote in issue number 8, and you got She-Hulk joins the Fantastic Four, which was probably one of the biggest mistakes I think Fantastic Four probably ever did. I thought she was. I understand they were doing something else with Ben Grimm, but they didn't need She-Hulk. She-Hulk at the time I thought was a flailing comic, and they were just trying to bring new life into her. So, they gave her the Fantastic Four. Personally, like I said, I think they could have did something with another character. Hell, even created a character to join the Fantastic Four. The next miniseries, I thought that pretty much defined the 80s and pretty much changed and revolutionized what DC was doing at the time was Crisis on Infinite Earths. Beautiful artwork, beautiful story, all the way through. You probably couldn't have asked for a better thing going on at DC at that time. Probably one of their best miniseries ever. Marv Wolfman and George Perez, dear God, like I said, top notch side stories and everything that happened during that series is some of the best work I think DC ever put out. You got the first appearance of the Blue Beetle and Harbinger, the first cameo, the second, and the first full appearance of the Anti-Monitor. You've got the first appearance of Lady Quark, Dr. Light, Lord Volt. You've got the second appearance of John Constantine. Oh my God, a major character that DC has brought out of Swamp Thing at the time. You got the death of Supergirl. You've got what we thought at the time was the death of Flash, Barry Allen, and Starman. When we find out Barry Allen basically just disappeared into the Speed Force. You got the DC debut of the Ghost from Charleston Comics. You got the first Wally West Flash. So I mean, like I said, it changed what DC was doing at the time. They literally, you probably for the next, I think, 10 or so years, I mean, DC set the standard on what actually happened with the Infinity Crisis. Now, the next series, I don't know how much of influence the next miniseries or crossover will ever have, but we'll find out pretty much coming up in the next few years, and that's usually how long it takes to really define what a miniseries really does to a comic book. But personally, one of my favorites that Marvel ever did, and there's lots of them, but like I said, these are my opinions, and everyone's going to have their own. So please like, subscribe, and leave a comment on what you think is your personal favorite. But King in Black, and this is absolutely, I think, my favorite cover for this series. You had a little little tattoo that you can get. This is the awesome cover, I thought. So this is the one I actually went after when it came out. But you got Donny Cates, you got Ryan Stegman, you got the keys of Battle of Null versus the Marvel Universe and the Death of Null, and with Null being the god of the symbiotes, and it being how many years prior before this book even came out in the first appearance, it was brought out about Null. You could tell that this has been a work in progress for several years before this. Null, I thought pretty much they showed how much Null could really just take over the world. And with the ending and the death of Null was fantastic, and let's see where Venom really kind of goes from there, and all the rest of the symbiotes. The next series, and the last series is the last series number 5, I think. Um, to me, is a newer series. Um, it's Just get right to it. It's Dark Crisis. When this when this series first started, I thought to myself, I gotta get into this. Joshua Williams and Daniel Sampere did a phenomenal work with this comic series, and how it's coming out, and the dawn of DC, and everything that's going on with DC at this moment, and I'm not talking about that Night Terrors crap that's fucking going on at this moment, because that absolutely is it sucks. There's no other nice way of saying it. It's probably some of the worst writing that you could ever imagine. Somebody is just throwing shit on the wall and going, okay, if it sticks, let's go with it. I'm sure that's not what they were thinking about when they wrote this book. Let's come up with some shit right after. Joshua Williams did an amazing job telling a great story. And it's horrible to see what DC is doing, coming out of this series, to actually pause all their major comic books just to release some crappy fucking comic that, dear God, nobody ever wanted or asked for. Does it have some cool covers? Do we want those cool covers? It's just a cool cover. If the story means nothing, then you just fucking fucked everybody over that was invested into DC at the time. And that's what's my personal opinion. Like I said, this is more of an adult themed, due to the fact that I mean, you've got one of the major adult comic books coming out, so I apologize ahead of time, and I'm going to go through it now. But some of the great keys coming out of this is the first and second cameo of the Red Canary, and the first cameo of Peace Wrecker. And let's see what they actually do with those characters. And unfortunately, we still got to wait a month or so until Night Terrors is finished before they even get back to those characters. The new Titans that they started doing, phenomenal work. All the steam that they were sitting there building up, unfortunately, has been come to a pause. The new Justice League that they were putting together with the end of the original Justice League, and the culmination of where Dick was going to end up landing on the leadership. It just sucks that they really did cut the cord behind that way too early. This is Night Terrors never fucking should have even been put out there well before now. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be honest with you. DC, you fucked up. You seriously fucked up. Just to sell an idea, you fucked up. Notable mentions, though, that I didn't. I'm not going to show this series or get too much into, is the Infinity Saga. Pretty much that whole saga. Jim Starlin started off with Jim Starlin and George Perez, and moved on with the rest of the work on that Infinity Saga. Top notch. It you can see when it pretty much, I think, changes the rest of what was going on, and everything that was happening in Marvel. You could tell that was a great series. I got another one, Flashpoint. Amazing series. That's a notable mention. The Dark Knight, Frank Miller's Dark Knight. Now, I know it didn't go along with the rest of what was going on in Batman, but it was one of the great mini series that Frank Miller did. Can't go wrong with that. The Long Halloween. Now, I jumped on the Long Halloween a lot later than everybody else. Unfortunately, I got to it later than I should have, but I discovered it not long after I actually watched the Long Halloween movie. I really wish I would have picked up picked up the first issue when it first came out, and World War Hulk. I mean, some of the Hawk's best work is in that issue. So to me, they're my notable mentions of probably some of the best series. But the top five there are the ones I took a little bit more time to divulge myself into. So, like I said before, if you like what we're talking about here, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think are some of the best miniseries. The ones that really did change the face of Marvel or DC. Talk to me all about it. I will show my co-host again. She's lying right there next to my very first puppy, Thor. Stormy Sue. Stormy. Stormy. And there's my pretty little girl right there. So, that being said, if you like what we're doing, make sure you come back, watch again. If you ever want an animal, I always say, please go down to your local shelters. There's lots of animals down there that are looking for loving homes. Thank you for joining me for another episode. Thank you for all those that have watched and tuned in to my other shows so far, and hope to see you again in the next.